Hey guys, so did I mention Yu-Gi-Oh was my biggest deck collection? So, welcome back to the Stack Deck. I am Deck, and we're going to go over my Yu-Gi-Oh deck collection today. So this is my biggest deck collection that I currently have. And a lot of it you haven't seen yet, and some of it you have. So, first off, I'm going to go ahead and pull this over. These are not sleeved. These are the speed duel decks of Rex Raptor and Weevil Underwood. So I'm going to set those to the side because I want to be very careful because they have not been sleeved yet. Because I don't have small sleeves. I'm also going to show this. This is the 3 structure decks of the Spirit Charmers. I have not sleeved those yet. I have sleeved, but I don't have a deck box for the Slifer the Sky Dragon, Egyptian God deck. I guess it's not really called a structure deck or a starter deck at all. I have sleeved, but do not have a deck box for the Obelisk the Tormentor Egyptian God deck. And now let's go ahead and get into these. I'm going to tell you what the deck is, and then I am going to explain if I made it or if Yu-Gi-Oh made it, and so on. But I'm not going to go through every single card in each deck. If you want to see that, let me know the name of the deck that you want to see down below, and I will check it out. A lot of these decks are from prior 2018, so we're going to go with that. I think the last time I actually bought cards was the Speed Duel and basically the stuff you just saw, because those are already on the channel. I have the Spirit Charmer structure deck opening on the channel. I have the budget deck where I combined 3 together. The Rex Raptor and Weevil Speed Duel decks, and then I have both Egyptian God openings on the channel. All this other stuff is going to be new. Okay, so first off, Dezrakaz, this just says it's main deck. So I am going to open this up and see what it is. Okay, so this is like the Dark Magician Girl deck, Montrose Dragon, Millennium Shield. Basically, it's a bunch of my favorite cards kind of thrown into a deck, and this is the deck that I used to use as my main deck. And it's basically a powerful beat 'em up kind of style deck. It probably wouldn't be very good in like a competitive, but it is good if you play like a traditional. Alright, now this is the starter deck Link Strike from Yu-Gi-Oh 2017. So this is just the starter deck that they actually released. Next, this is the 2013 starter deck Yugi Reloaded. I try to keep all the starter decks and structure decks together. And then I have some actual stuff in here. So a good way to know is if it's my deck or if it's a pre-made deck is the date. So it'll say it right here, starter deck, date. If it just says Yu-Gi-Oh! And then it says just deck, and then it has like blue eyes, that's my personal blue eyes deck. But this is the Yugi Reloaded starter deck. This is the 2019 structure deck for Soul Burner. Next we got the Yu-Gi-Oh 2018 starter deck of Codebreaker. Now this is the 2013 Kaiba Reloaded starter deck. This is pretty good. Alright, so this says Legacy. So this is going to be a Legacy deck. And this is the 2015 Legacy deck, Yugi's Gadgets. This came in the 3-pack. It had the 3, I believe this was the 3 Yugi decks. And this is the gadget one that it came with. This is 2012. This is the Xyz Symphony starter deck. I bought a lot of these because the person I was with at the time back in 2012 was in band and orchestra and stuff. And this deck has a bunch of the, like, Maestro kind of Xyz monsters. So I made her an actual, like, music deck. And that is my personal copy, and then I gave her hers. Alright, so this is another Legacy deck. This is Legacy Decks 2. This is the Yugi Exodia deck from 2016. And then I put the Yugi card there. So, pretty good. And the reason I keep these together is if I want to do like a balanced duel. So if I don't want to do like a actual Blue Eyes deck versus an actual Red Eyes deck, I could do a Kaiba versus Joey duel. And it's going to be more, I guess, set up. So this is a Legacy deck. This is the Yugimoto Duelist Kingdom deck. And, of course, you know, I've got the set sail for the Kingdom, the Duelist Kingdom, and the Glory of the King's Hand in here. Because you got to kind of have it all together, right? Does make sense. Alright. Next, this is the 2015 Legacy decks. This is the Yugi Battle City deck. Which I guess is his magnets. So that's pretty good. Next, we're going to show you the 2016 structure deck, Seto Kaiba A through Z. So these are his actual big A to Z, X, Y, all of those mixed ones. And, you know, I like doing dual sleeves. So the extra deck is a different color than the main deck. And I kind of just stick that with all of mine. But I try to make it make sense. So the boxes don't, because I buy them in 6-packs. But Seto Kaiba is blue, so I kind of have that together. And then I want to change it up every once in a while. So this is my Dark Magician deck. But this is also back from, like, I haven't updated this since like 2018. So it's Dark Magician, and it was with some of the cards from, actually this will tell you the last time it was updated, the movie, where Seto Kaiba goes back in time. Dark Sides of Dimensions. That's the last time this deck was updated. Alright, next. I have my... Nope. Dates down here. The 2005 Zombie Madness structure deck. Alright, next. The 2016 Yugimoto structure deck, Electromagnets. So this is the different magnets other than the Valkyrie. This is the other guys. And I got it in yellow and pink. Because, you know, looks good that way. Next, I have my actual Elemental Hero deck. My Elemental Hero deck is a pure Elemental Hero deck. It is the one that sticks with Jaden's Elemental Heroes from before Neos and the Neospatians. So this is like the classic heroes. Next, I have the 2004 Yugi Evolution starter deck. I have the 2017 Cyber's Link structure deck. You know, white and pink. I feel like that would make sense. And I've got like my name on here, but I wrote on the side so I can see, because I have them on the shelf like this, going all the way across. So you could see like with the background there, where you could tell exactly what's what. And then I had to put other ones, like the actual labels, on like the black ones. But they don't stick very well. Alright, I have the 2003 Pegasus starter deck. That was probably my favorite starter deck growing up. I have the 2003 Joey Wheeler starter deck. 2013 Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon structure deck. I hate this structure deck. It's only got one extra deck monster, and it's the Azor Eyes. And the reason I hate this deck is it's everywhere. The Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon deck has been all over the place. Like, I actually, like right here in this pile, like it's just everywhere. You can't get away from this structure deck. It just came out in like 2013 or whatever, and it's still just on shelves everywhere you go. It's crazy. I got the 2017 Pendulum Domination structure deck. This is the 2004 Kaiba Evolution starter deck. The 2018 Power Code Link structure deck. The 2002 Yugi starter deck. The 2002 Seto Kaiba starter deck. Trying not to have this pile over here fall. The 2017 Legacy deck, Dimension Dragons. So I believe this is the one that came with the 3 dragon decks. Like with Cybers and stuff. And I think maybe Atlantis. The 2005 Dragon's Roar structure deck. My actual Dark Magician Girl deck. This hasn't been updated since Dark Side of Dimensions. But it's basically Dark Magician Girl. And all the little other ones. Got the 2 Dark Magicians. My 2 favorite artworks of the Dark Magician. Pretty good. You can see the main deck, the side deck, and then some extra cards. Got the 2017 Legacy deck Cyber Dragons. Got my actual Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. So I had to throw in the Seto Kaiba token. You know how it is. The deck, one of the decks I have put the most money into, my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck. So my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck, I have my favorite artwork of the Joey Wheeler Red Eyes Black Dragon. And basically, you know, Red Eyes Baby Dragon, the Stone. I have a Summoned Skull in here, and so on. And this, the way I play Red Eyes is I play it as a Red Eyes Black fusion deck. So you can see the main deck, the side deck, and then some extra cards. The extra cards in this is actually the extra Red Eyes card. Like, I got Red Eyes Black Chick in as like an extra card in this case because it's a Red Eyes card. And I kind of like having all of those together. But I know it's not as Red Eyes as the archetype kind of thing. But I even have like Harpy's brother and Harpy's girl or whatever thrown in a Harpy's deck just on the side. Just because I like having the like those cards together, even if Harpy's brother got his name changed later on. This is the 2017 Legacy Dragons of Atlantis deck. So I don't know if I've ever actually even played this deck. No, this one I have played. Which one did I not play? I don't think I actually played Oh man, the legacy decks that came with the Nordic and the those. I haven't played those yet. This is my actual Cyber Dragon deck. It's, you know, based on the old school like Cyber Dragons. This is one of my other, so my 3 main decks that I use, as far as like competitive kind of stuff, or not competitive, but the main decks I use is Familiar Possessed Beatdown, my Dark Magician Girl deck, the Red Eyes Black Dragon deck is probably my main one along with this one, and then I like Toons and Crystal Beasts. But this is my Familiar Possessed deck. It's basically just a beatdown style. It gets everything done. It's got the new art styles that came with the structure decks. I bought like 8 structure decks just so I can try to get all of the random hollowed Familiar Possessed cards. And there's not really any Charmers in this deck. It's just that I was building a Charmer deck that used Kaijus as its kind of thing, like where you give your opponent a Kaiju and then you take it back. Now, this is a deck that I played with for a while. This is my Suicidal Homicide deck. This deck probably needs to be updated, but this is a deck that I created once Sengen and them got taken off the ban list a long time ago. I don't know if they're still off the ban list, but I made this deck when they got errated, and basically the point of this deck, it uses like Necrophase and stuff. On turn 1, somebody is going to lose. Suicidal Homicide. It's either going to be you or it's going to be them. The point of this is one of the players will be decked out by the end of turn 1. That's all it does. Everything in here wants to get sent to the graveyard or banished, which causes other things to get sent to the graveyard or banished. And that's for both players. Some things, when they get banished or sent to the graveyard, they refill and reactivate. And it's just a giant loop until somebody decks out. However, if somehow they have like 5 or 6 cards in their hand that stops every single activation, this deck doesn't do anything else at all. Like, without, like, unless if you have like the little like Necrofear or something, that can't do anything else if it gets stopped. This is my actual Cybers deck. I really liked the Cybers cards when they came out. They looked really cool. I thought it was a really cool kind of, I guess, archetype or style. So I want to head with that. It's pretty good. Next is my Toon Kingdom deck. You see it's yellow and pink. I don't think I actually ever finished this deck. Of course, yeah, so these two are placeholders. So, you know, they got the Toon Red Eyes, and these are placeholders. So basically, I put a placeholder card. This was one of the ones that I needed the most, and I finally was able to get it for an okay price. And you can see the placeholder cards in here. The problem, you know, I have this listed on like an Excel worksheet, so I know what I'm missing. You would think, oh, well, what's the placeholder cards? Last time I checked, the placeholder cards were like $200 each. Like, the Toon cards were so expensive to try to get. And that was like my problem. Was like, I think one is like the Black Luster Toon guy or whatever. I haven't checked the prices in a while, but when I checked it back then, it was like $100, $200 a card, and I needed them. Like, the only card I'm missing in my Red Eyes deck and stuff is like the Red Eyes Black Dragoon, and that was expensive for a long time. I don't know if they ever reprinted it, but at the time, I can't spend like $400 on a card. I can't do it. Alright, this is to exceed your pending limitation deck. This deck is basically a loop that I made that just pendulums and exceeds summons. And this was my way of testing, because they made a pendulum thing. I hated pendulums. I thought they sucked. Having them on the side of the board with a different mat, it was awful. When they changed it back to now pendulums go in the magic and trap zone, it was like, oh, it's so much better now. And I made this deck using a bunch of the random decks that I had, and I was like, alright, my main thing is I'm going to pendulum and exceed as much as I can, and that's what this deck does. I don't know how this works as far as, because this deck was made before Link monsters existed. So this is me just trying to mix exceeds and pendulums together. Alright, next we have another deck I put a lot of time into. My Fight for Fluffles. I thought the Fluffle stuff looked really cool. I like the cute cuddly stuffed animals mixed with demonic puppets. It was really cool. I don't know if I ever finished this deck. I think I am missing a couple cards. I haven't even put them all in sleeves. But it could also probably use an update. I was just trying to get all of these at the time. And you can tell how old these are. These have like an O trademark from 2008 on them. So that's also a tell of when I bought the decks. So like all the ones that are real older have that on it. But then something like these, the Blue Eyes deck doesn't. So. Next, we got the Nordic Legacy deck from 2018. I have never used this deck. I bought the Legacy Collection because I try to buy the Legacy Collections, or at least at the time. So, I tried to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in like 2018 and bought some of these. Didn't really do anything with them. But, I wanted to have them. Also, the Nordic is what I was interested in the Heroes. Speaking of which, this is the 2018 Legacy deck for the Heroes. Pretty good. Extra Heroes. I also haven't dueled with these, but I like them. Next is the other deck I haven't used, Legacy Phantom Knights from 2018. All these are kind of together. I thought these looked really cool, so I bought them. I haven't actually played with it, but I have it to have it. Next, I have the Legacy decks too. This 2016 Kaiba Blue Eyes deck. This also has the Seto Kaiba. And this is basically his Blue Eyes deck. Pretty good. Legacy deck 2, Joey's Red Eyes 2016. I definitely wanted this. I got the Joey cards. And I got this to get some of the Red Eyes cards that I was missing. Because I bought multiple sets of this Legacy duel. And I wanted the tokens and stuff. And I believe these actually had unique cards for like Kaiba, Yugi, and Joey that were never released in the TCG at that point. So I got those. And then one of my favorite decks is this deck. My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Character is Bakura Ryu. So I had to make a Bakura deck. Now, this deck isn't the best deck to use competitively or anything like that. It's just a deck to have fun. You can face Yugi with it or whatever. Like a Yugi starter deck or a structure deck. But it is Bakura deck. I try to play at least one of everything that he's played. There's a lot of cards that he never released that he played. And this is, I forgot last update, it was like 2016 or something like that. But I have a Millennium Ring. And it's white because Bakura. I have a Millennium Ring. I have this. And I wanted to get a dual disc. So I can have just like a little thing on the wall of just a dual disc Millennium Ring in Vacora's deck. And I was thinking about also having it like, you know, getting slabbed or something. And just having the deck all out. But these are pretty cool. Dark Necrofear. Just some different cards that he's used throughout his time, like Zork. Got Exchange. Got the Ectoplasma. Things like that. I really like it. I believe like that's the newest card that I got that I added. I believe there's another one. Let's see. That card was great. I found that in my collection. But Dark Sanctuary, pretty important. Change of Heart, one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards, if not my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card. You know, there's a couple magic ones. I know they've made a couple more cards since then that I do need to get. But I wasn't into Yu-Gi-Oh at the time, so I never picked them up. But that's my favorite just deck that I made in general. And that's about it. Those are just different structure decks and stuff. They're basic ones that are already shown, just different copies of these. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you want to see any of these decks, like an actual deck profile for it, let me know down below, and I will do a deck profile for it. Although it will be old school. So maybe I could do an old school deck profile, and then maybe I can even update it and do a modern version. Like if I was going to modernize the Suicidal Homicide deck, or if I was going to modernize the, I guess, if I want to get the other cards for the Toon decks. The cards I kind of want to get is why I'm doing this video, is I might be buying more Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the future. Or I'm going to if I want to continue this channel. And the next things I want to buy is I want to buy the Crystal Beast structure decks. So I want to buy 3 of the structure decks, and then I want to combine them and make a budget deck. So I'll do an opening of the actual Crystal Beast structure deck, and then I'll do a budget deck profile of mixing the 3 together. And then I kind of want to do that because that's an easier and cheaper way to mess with this actual stuff. I just got to get more sleeves and stuff to do this. I kind of stick with Ultra Pro because I could buy like 5 or 6 of these for like $10. So that's pretty good. And then the actual sleeves are cheaper. These are the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh sleeves. Just because it's an actual like structure deck. So there's no point in, you know, buying special sleeves for it. If they kind of have some with the store that are cheaper. But I kind of stick with Ultra Pro just because they're cheaper. If I'm going to buy something like my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck, I'll use like maybe Dragon Shields. But that's only to play with. These I kind of just want as like, you know, they're not super high end. They're just really cool. But I will see you all next time. Don't forget the game like a god. Peace.